Hello scholars, welcome. Mr. Hinkle here. We are discussing animals that live in the open ocean, specifically in this lecture, marine mammals. What a cool story this is. We will describe our three orders of marine mammals, but first, some background. Marine mammals are organisms that once lived on land, the ancestors of marine mammals. The story goes like this. Life begins in the oceans. Lots of time goes by, life diversifies, it becomes more complex. At some point, marine organisms crawl out of the ocean and onto land for terrestrial diversification. Time goes on, that terrestrial diversification leads to specific organisms that suddenly go, you know what, I think I want to go back and live in the ocean. So mammals that had adapted and evolved on land move back into the ocean to take up that habitat, thus giving us marine mammals. They're warm-blooded, they breathe air, they have hair and fur, bear live young, and mammary glands for milk. Those are all the characteristics that you and I have because we're mammals, except for we don't live in the ocean. But marine mammals have various classes, Carnivora, Sirenia, and Cetacea, with examples, and this is what we're doing. We're building our examples for this phylogeny of different organisms. So, Carnivora, we'll start here, with sea otters and polar bears. Polar bears are so cool. They're so cute. They're also like the poster child for climate change when you see the polar bear on the little piece of ice that's looking all emaciated. But I chose to go with happier polar bears. Now, these bears live in very cold environments and they swim in very cold water. They have giant paws, and what's really cool, one of their awesome adaptations is their fur is hollow, like double-paned glass. If you want better insulation on your house, you replace your single pane glass with double pane glass because there's a little pocket of air between the two panes, which improves insulation. Bears have that in their fur. Hollow fur creates double paned fur, which allows for greater insulation. That's so cool. Sea otters are absolutely adorable, probably one of my favorite types of marine life. But they live in kelp forests, they have extremely dense fur, and use tools. They'll put rocks on their tummy and crack open clams and shells using tools. So they're very intelligent animals that live in the ocean. Pinnipeds, these are a type of carnivora that are going to include walruses, seals, and sea lions. Now, these two look very similar. The difference here is the external ear, which happens on sea lions, and then fur on the flippers. Seals have furry flippers, an internal ear. Sea lions have external ears, skin on their flippers. And walruses, they've got these giant tusks that stick out. Both genders, male and female, have the ivory tusks, which are cool adaptations, evolutionary traits that have evolved for these type of species. Okay, Sirenia, we're continuing on. These are the vegetarians of the ocean. Here we have manatees and dugongs. Very large animals that inhabit specific environments. They are herbivores that eat shallow water coastal grasses in coastal areas of the Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. How cool! These are just rad, really awesome looking organisms. Cetacea, so this is where our whales exist. And whales are going to come in two types of whales. Toothed whales, just how it sounds, and baleen whales. I'll get to what a baleen is in a moment. Another word for this is, well, I'll talk about it right now actually. The baleen, mustached whales, kind of like me, the mustache, you got it. So adaptations for whales. They are deep divers. They breathe oxygen. This is another thing that marine mammals do. They breathe oxygen. So they have the ability to use oxygen extremely efficiently, shut down specific organs. They have collapsible lungs, collapsible bodies, which allow for extreme pressures of deep diving, and specialized skin structures. So whales have adapted to living in the open ocean and diving deep in these environments also. Toothed whales, porpoise and the dolphin. Porpoises have rounded, blunt snouts. Dolphins have elongated snouts. Dolphins have a hooked dorsal fin. And then also the teeth, you can't see, they're not smiling here, but porpoises have blunt or flat teeth, and dolphins have pointy teeth, kind of like killer whales. So if we're looking here, for toothed whales, we've got dolphins, we've got porpoises, we've got, what's next, killer whales? Killer whales and sperm whales. Okay, so killer and sperm. Killer whales are highly intelligent animals with complex social structures that work together. And they're one of the only types of whales that will actually hunt and eat other whales. They will hunt and eat sharks. They're cute. Looks very snuggly, but don't be fooled. They are very killer. And then sperm whales are the largest of the toothed whales. They can weigh up to 50 tons. What is that, like 50 dump trucks? Whoa, that's a big whale. So these whales emit sound, and the sound travels through the water column. It reflects off of whatever might be out there and returns. That is interpreted in a special region of the brain to give a picture of what's out there. This is called echolocation. Often, developing technology over what's already existing in nature is a smart way to go. So sonar does the same thing. This is basically sonar for our dolphins and our porpoises so that they can know what's out there. This is why they make that fun sound, so they can create a picture of the environment around. Dolphins are also intelligent. Look at the size of brains. Humans, dolphins, that's wild. Dolphins are trainable, they're highly convoluted brains, and they've actually assisted in helping rescue drowning humans. So, hey, way to go, dolphins. That's awesome. Baleen whales, also known as mustache whales, but really it's the baleen, a filter feeding system of fibrous plates that basically the whales will find food and they'll take in huge quantities of water and filter out all of the food in their baleen, trapping fish and krill and plankton and anything else that they need, and this is their feeding strategy. Now, these whales also sing and communicate over great distances. Let's talk about some of these. The biggest animal on Earth, the blue whale. Here's an elephant, here's a human. Blue whales can grow up to be about 100 feet. They live to be 90 years old. This is amazing. Just the thought of blue whales existing in the ocean makes me happy. That something so large, 441,000 pounds, and so big, 100 feet long, with a tongue that weighs as much as an elephant exists in the world, that just, it's so special. Our world is amazing. Isn't our world absolutely amazing? Humpback whales. Humpback whales work together, and one of their unique adaptations is their feeding strategy, which is called bubble net. I highly recommend you pause this right now. Well, this is dangerous because you might just be watching bubble net videos for the rest of your day. But Google or YouTube bubble net feeding, and you will see this unique process where the humpback whales work together, and they'll crowd the fish into a certain location. And when they do it, they will all come up and whoosh, eat the fish all in one go. So humpback whales are awesome. Gray whales also really, really big. Gray whales have big migration patterns that can be seen. So if you've ever gone whale watching on the west coast of the United States, you're often looking at gray whale migrations because they eat in the tropic, they eat in the poles when there's food, and then they reproduce in the tropics where it's warm. So gray whales have adapted feeding and migration strategies. Right whales and finback whales get special shout outs because, hey, they're whales too. Cool things to know about this: right whales have long, fine baleen. They don't have a dorsal fin. Finback whales are very calm. They're huge. They're the second largest behind blue whales. They're mainly eating plankton. And when we look at our whales, when we look at pelagic animals of various sizes, we can see the blue whale is the largest. Second largest is the sperm whale. We've got the gray whale. There's a human up there. You've got porpoises and dolphins, which are going to be smaller whales. Killer whales, or also known as orcas, are up there. And this is a distribution of the size and the relative sizes for our toothed and our baleen whales. Okay, let's bring it back in. Summary. Pardon me. So, marine nekton are swimmers in the pelagic environment, the open ocean. And one type of nekton are marine mammals that once lived on land, then moved into the ocean, and then evolved various strategies of survival, various characteristics that classify them into these three main groups: carnivora, sirenia, and cetacea, giving us very specific types of organisms, species, that really captivate and capture the minds and the hearts for us studying and learning about organisms in the marine environment. So thank you so much, and I will see you again.